How do you think it worked in the game?
I thought it worked outstanding. I was really proud of both guys. Obviously it's not easy, but they're both great players, great friends, great competitors, and they all bring something. They each bring something to the table. And I think Coach Meyer believes in both of them, as we all do, and felt like maybe there's some things that we can use their strengths and get them on the field to help our football team. Because ultimately, that's the goal. Help us win and keep this thing rolling.
Was there a sense at all that, geez, it's a shame that we have this guy who was fifth in the Heisman last year and the team leader and all that stuff, and he really doesn't have a significant role in it, and how can we get him involved?
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I just think it was one of those situations we felt like he's a good player, and is there something he can do to help us contribute and help us win? And he just has a little different element than Cardell.
Coach, I get asked a lot about the play calling mechanics and how it works now. Coach seemed to allude a couple of weeks ago that you would be more involved or have a feel for what he wants. How does it go now? I'm learning. Obviously it's a progress or a process like everything else. And it's by committee, certainly. We have great coaches. Ed Warner, outstanding offense coordinator. And Ed and I have always worked well together, and we continue to do so. And all our suggestions between series, we get ideas, Zach Smith, Tim Hinton, Tony Alford, and Coach Meyer. And we kind of, hey, here's a good plan. This is what we want to do to try to attack them. And then we just go from there. So, it's been interesting, to say the least. And like I said, I feel like I'm getting more comfortable and understanding things a lot better. And we seem to be operating a little bit more smoother.
With you being
Who pulls the trigger? I mean,
as far as what
makes the call?
Ultimately, right now, the voice is mine.
Okay.
Was that the original plan, or when did that change?
I think it's something they've done here. I think through Tom, whoever the coach is in the press box. I don't know that it's anything to take away from any other coach. It's just I'm upstairs, I see things, I'm away from the crowd, the players, the noise. You don't get the emotion necessarily drawn into it as you do when you're down on the sidelines. You're in that solitary booth and you can think things through. You have the playlist right in front of you. And the suggestions, we write them down in between series, and I just verbalize it to them.
Tim, what did you see from the offense Saturday that maybe had been missing the several previous weeks? Was there more of a consistency? What just sort of like stuck out to you of how y'all got the job done?
I thought we didn't turn the ball over, which was number one, which was huge. I think even in those earlier games, there had been some really bright spots, but we were turning the ball over and not finishing drives. I thought we were better at that this game. I thought obviously in the red zone, we found ways to neutralize the loaded boxes and things like that to allow us to get points on the board, touchdowns, as opposed to settling for field goals. So I think those two things stood out the most.
You've been around quarterbacks a lot. What is it that JT has? He does seem to have a knack, for finding the seam or whatever you want to call it when he's running.
Right.
What stands out to you about him just in that particular kind of 20-yard box there?
Yeah, I think you described it. He just kind of has a knack. I don't know if you could put a finger on it or actually even describe it. He just has a way of fitting into where the holes are and reading the plays as he's running them. He's done a really good job doing that.
Mm-hmm.